tutorial for today. Welcome to Trust Teaching. In this tutorial, I'll teach you guys how to make this Basque Princess Bustier top. Kindly click on that subscribe button and click on the notification bell to notify you whenever I post a new video. Hello guys, welcome to my tutorial for today. In this tutorial, I'll teach you guys how to make this Basque Princess Bustier top. I want you to stay tuned, and I've drew the line I'll be working on for today. Let me quickly explain. From up, I use this 1 inch sort of like guideline. Now from up to 9 inches, this is where I draft my bust line. You can see 9 inches. From up to 10.5 is my nipple point. You can see that's my nipple point, which is up to 10.5. Then up to 13.5 is my under bust. Then from this up to 16 inches is my half length, that is my waist. Now from up to 21.5, this is my top length, that is my actual top length. But from up to this 25 inches, this 27 inches is my basque length. But my actual basque length is 25 inches. This 25 inches is my basque length. But I added 2 inches because I want to use lining to draw it at the dam. Then I'm going to use 1.5 inches to draw it at the dam. Then half inches at the up, which to join the shoulder, making it 2 inches. That's why I added 2 inches. That's 25 plus 2, which is 27. Now remember, my actual basque length is 25, but I added 2 inches. Now let's go to the tutorial on now. But if you want to press it, that you are not using lining to draw it, you can decide to use your machine to press it at the down. You can add 1 inches, but I want to use my lining to make it neat. I'm going to draw it, pull it up. So I'm added 2 inches. Now what we are going to do now, you can see what I have here. My back measurement is 7.5. Then I added half inches, that's my same allowance, which is 8 inches. You can see I'm having 8 inches here. At this first line, I mark the 8 inches also. Then I make a straight line across it. You can see what I have, 8 inches with 8 inches that I draw this line. Now what we are going to do now is that we're going to go for our nipple to nipple measurement. My nipple to nipple measurement is 4.5. Then we are going to start at this down, which is at your basque length. We are going to start the 4.5 all the way up. We are going to stop at this bust line, 4.5 inches. If I decide to go with 4, that is how your nipple to nipple measurement is. But for me, I'm going to use 4.5. I'm going to draw it all the way down. I have here, I've drawn the line, which is 4.5 inches. Now what we are going to do now is I'm going to take that for this. I'm going to use 1.5 inches at this side, that is where my center front, then 1.5 inches toward my side part. You can see. Then I'm going to do the 1.5 inches. Then at this side, 1.5 inches. You can decide to go with 1 inch. That's how you want that to be. But as for me, I'm using 1.5 inches for both sides. Now you can see what I have. This is 1.5 inches. I went to my, this is my top length. That's my actual top length. I do the 1.5 inches. I come to my half length also 1.5. Then I stop at the under bust. You can see what I have. Then 1.5 inches toward my center front. Then 1.5 inches towards my side part. Then I stop at the under bust. Then what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to use my French curve to curve that. Then you come right here at your under bust. Then you're going to curve it to your nipple point. Then with the help of this French curve, I'm going to do it like this. You can see what I have. Then you go ahead and curve it. And I want you to curve it very well. Then I'm going to curve it like this. You can see what I have. Then I'll come right here at my center front also. Then you curve. That is how you can use your French curve to curve it. Make sure you curve it later. You can see what I have. I've curved it here. I come right here at my side part. I curve it. Then I go to my center front. Then I curve. You can see what I have. Then you can see what I did. Then what we are going to do now is that we are going to line. That is my armhole line. Remember, which is 9 inches. That is 9 divided by 2, which is 4.5. You can see 4.5. Then I'll mark the midpoint. The midpoint of this armhole is 4.5. But what I like to do is that I don't like using the midpoint, because after joining it, this curve will be at the down, be at your armhole down. But I don't want that, so I'm going to use 4 inches. That is, my midpoint is 4.5. I remove half inches. Then I'm going to use 4, and this 4 will be my actual midpoint. Now you can see what I have. The 4 inches is my actual midpoint. Now you come down with this at this midpoint. You're going to come down by 1 inches. You can see I came down by 1 inches. My midpoint is 4.5, but I used 4 inches because I don't want it to come down. Then I came up by half 1 inches. You can see what I have, 4.5, that I came down by 1 inch. Now the 1 inches that I came down, I'm going to use my free hand to curve it to this for my nipple to nipple measurement. You can see what I have. My nipple to nipple measurement is 4.5. Then I use my midpoint to be 4 inches. Then I came down by 1. From this one, then I use my hand to draw it to this center. That is the 4.5 inches. My nipple to nipple measurement. Then I draw. Then what you are going to do now is that you are going to, at this 1 inches that I came down, I'm going to come up by half inches again. Then you come down by half inches also. And so what I have, I came up by half, then I came down by half. Then what we are going to do now is that we are going to join these half inches towards this side part, and the half inches at the up towards the center front. This is what we are going to do. You are going to use your free hand to do that. You are going to join this towards your side. That is your side part. While the half inches that I came up, I'm going to draw that towards my center front. You can see what I have now. That is 3 lines. The 1 inches that I came, I draw that towards my center. That is the 4.5 line. While the half inches I came up, I drew that towards my center part. While the half inches I came down, I drew that towards my side part. Now you can see what I have, guys. Now you can see. Now what you are going to do now is that to create more space there, because when sewing it, I don't want to be shorting by fabric, because I noticed that after joining this piece, the side part is much shorter than the center part. The center part will be more than the side part. Then what we are going to do now is that we are going to come right here at your bust line. You can see my bust measurement, all the circumference, I use 50.5. The reason why I use this 50.5 is because my bust is 38, which is 9.5. That divided by 4 is 9.5. Then I'll mark the 9.5 right here. Can see what I have. This is 9.5. Then I'm going to check what we are going to cut away here. I'm going to cut like about 1 inches away this side. Then I'm going to add the 1 inches back. Then I added my seam allowance, which is 3 inches. I use 3 inches as my seam allowance because I'm going to join it. Then after that, I'm going to use my lining to turn it. That's why I did. So I round it up to 3 inches because I don't want to be short by fabric. Now this is where I stop my, you can see I stop my armhole right here. Then what we are going to do now is that we are going to extend this side. That is the side part, because I don't want it, after joining it, this side part is more smaller than the center front. Then what we are going to do now is that we are going to add more to this armhole. Remember, we remove 1 inches. We are going to cut away 1 inches at this side. Now before we cut away the 1 inches, I'm going to add the 1 inches back. You can see the reason why I add enough seam allowance to it. The 1 inches we are going to cut away, we are going to replace it back at this armhole, the bust line. We are going to replace it back. Then what we are going to do now is that I'm going to come outside by half inches like this. You can see what I have by half inches. I came out by half inches because when sewing it, there will be equal, because it's actually half inches. The side part will be smaller than the center with half inches. That's why I came out by half inches. Then I'm going to join it from this side to this side. Remember, my actual measurement is 9.5. Then I'm going to cut away like 1 inches here. I added the 1 inches back. Then with my seam allowance 3 inches, then I added the 1 inches that I'm going to cut away here. I add it back. Then with my French cuff, I'm going to cuff that like so. Then you go ahead and cuff it like this. You can see what I have. Then you cuff it. You can see, guys, now this is what I have. Then what we are going to go now is that let's go for our neck. I'm going to use 4.5 inches for my neck width. Anyhow, you can say to use, but let me use 4 inches. I'm going to use 4 inches for my neck width. Then for my neck depth, I'm going to use 7 inches for the neck depth. This is 7 inches. Then what we are going to do next is that we are going to cuff it. You can see what I have. Then I'm going to come right here. I'm going to mark 5 inches. I'll mark 5 inches here because we are going to cuff it out like sweetheart. You can try to use your arm or you use your hand. Before, we are going to use round, like creating a round curve. Then after that, we are going to come like this. gently, then you stop. You can see what I have. You're going to come here gently, then you stop. Firstly, I create a round curve. I stop at this 5 inches. Then after the 5 inches, I create a curve, just a slant curve. Then I stop at the 7 inches. You can see what I have. This is the 7 inches. Why right here I mark 5? Because I curve it to this 5, then I slant it to the 7. That is to create a sweetheart neck. Then after that, what we are going to do now is that if you check at that picture, you can see we have the top line, then we have the basque line at that picture. Then what I'm going to do now is that you can see my top length is 21.5, while my basque length together is 27. Remember I added 2 inches, that is 1.5 inches at the down, then half inches at the up. Then what we are going to do now is that we are going to slant it. Then how are you going to do that? How are you going to do that? We are going to slant it, and with the help of my ruler, I'm going to stop at my top length. Now for my basque length, from my basket, you are going to slant it like this. You can see what I have. You follow like this. Then you come up gently. Then you stop at my top length. You can see what I have. From this part, then I curve. You are going to curve it like this. Then I slant it. You are going to slant it and stop at your top length. Just a slant shape. Then what we are going to do now is that we are going to go for our measurement. At my under bust measurement is 32 inches. You can see this is the 32 inches is divided by 2, which is 8. Divided by 4 is 8 inches. Now this is 8 inches. Then I'm going to add the 3 inches. I'm going to cut away here. So I added the 3 inches. Then with the 3 inches seam allowance, remember I add 3 inches seam allowance because I don't want to be shortened by fabric. My half length also. My half length, that is my waist length here. My waist measurement is 8 inches. Then I'm going to add 3 inches that I'm going to cut away. Then again 3 inches for my seam allowance. Then I'm going to come to my top length. My top length is 34 because remember that is more busty like than the half length, which is 34 is 17. 17 is 8.5. Then I'm going to use my 3 inches. I'm going to cut away. Then another 3 inches for my seam allowance. You can see what I have right here. Now you can see. Then we are going to, you can use your free hand to make that for my bust. Then you come like this. Then after that, you curve it to your top length. You can see it's not that shape, but believe me, after joining, you are going to have that perfect shape that you want. Then we are going to curve it. Now we are through, guys, with everything. You can see what I have. Then we are going to cut it out for you guys to see. I'm going to go at this center front. I'm going to slant it. I forgot to slant it. Then I'm going to slant it by half inches. Then I'm going to slant it like this. You can see what I have. I made a shoulder slant at this edge. Remember, for adults, we will use 1 inch, but for kids, you are going to use half inch. Then I'm going to cut it out like so. Why this is my center front. You can see, if you check at that diagram at the front part, this is what we have. Then you can see my sweetheart neck that I cut out. Now what we are going to do now is that we are going to go for the back part. I drew all the line that I'll be working on because I just want it to be snappy. Then what I use now is that, remember at my front basque length I use 25, then I wrap it up to 27, but for this back I use 24 because I don't want it to be that basque, that long basque. You can see that diagram. I don't want it to be that basque. I just want short basque. Then I use 24 instead of 27. Then I use 24. I don't want it to be that long, just short basque. But remember that my actual top length is 21. Then for this back I round it up to 22. That is half inches at the back, at the down rather, then half inches at the up. Then I use 22 inches, but for this I use 24. Then I'm going to explain what I did here. Then my zipper allowance of 1.5 inches. You can see this is my zipper allowance, 1.5 inches. Then I come right here from up to my line, which is my bust line. From up to 16, that is my waist. Then from up to 22 is my top length, and from up to 24 inches is my basque, my short basque length. Then what I did after that, I go ahead and mark my dart. That is my princess dart. I use 3.5 inches at this princess dart. You can see what I have. Then I use 3.5 inches, but when I reach my bust line, I use 4.5 because I curve it like this. Then I come up. You can see what I have. Remember, I want both the front princess dart and the back to be the same. Then I use 4.5. You can see what I have. I use 4.5, and for this 4.5, I just curve it like this. I came at this down, I use 3.5. Then I start marking it at my 3.5. When I reach my bust line, I curve it to this 4.5 inches that I use. You can see the 4.5 inches. I just curve, just make a curve shape. Then after that, I go for my shoulder slant of 1 inches. Then I make my neck width of 4. Then my neck depth of 4 also, because I don't want the back to be the same as the front, and I don't want it to be low. Then I use 4 so that it will match the front shape. Then after that, I went ahead and slant it to this edge. That is my neck edge. Then after that, what we're going to go now, you can see what I have at my top length of 22 inches and my basque length of 24. I just use my ruler to just make a slant shape. You can see what I have. I use 1.5 for my zip. You can decide to use 1 inch, but for me, I use 1.5. Then I slant it at this basque length. I just make a slant shape. Now, what now? You are going to go for my armhole. My armhole measurement is, my bust measurement rather, my circumference is 9.5. Remember, you are not going to start the measurement from this edge. Behind my 1.5 inch, that is my zipper allowance. Then I came like this. I mark 9.5. You can see what I have, 9.5. And I'm going to add my seam allowance of 3 inches. That is 1 inch for that. That is joining. 1 inch for my lining. Then the remaining 1 inch for my inner seam allowance. If you go to my previous video, you are going to understand how I add this 3. Because I had how to calculate a baby body is there. So check out on my video and check the reason why I added 3 inches to this. I've explained that at my previous video. Then this is 9.5. Then I added 3 inches seam allowance. Then after that, you are going to use your armhole curve to curve it, starting from this 4.5. Then you are going to give it a curve shape. You can see what I have. Now this is what I have. You can see. Then after that, I'm going to come to my waist. My waist is 8 inches. And I'm going to add 3 inches seam allowance. Then I'm going to come to my top length also, 8 inches. Remember, my top length is 34, which is 17. I'm going to use 8.5. Then I'm going to add 3 inches. Then after that, you're going to use your free hand to curve it. You can see what I have. I curve the shape like this. Now after that, you can see what I have. Then I'm going to cut it. Now before I go, I want to briefly explain this. I'm going to make something at this edge. I don't want that bulgy, as in that folding at the back. I want this back at my zipper allowance. I want it straight at my back. That's the middle of your back. I don't want folding. You can check my previous video. I did a video on how to make your zipper allowance not to bulge or not to fold at the back. You can see like 1 inch folding. I don't want that. Now I'm going to explain. I'm going to come right here, mark 10 inches. You can see what I have. Then from these 10 inches, I'm going to come in rather by half inches. You can see what I have. I come in by half inches. Then starting from this, you can see from these 10 inches, you are going to slant it like this. You can see what I have. You slant it like this. Then you stop at your under waist. You can see that's your down waist. You can stop like your down waist. It's like I slant it gently. But if I want to use it, as if I want to sew it, the 1.5 inches, I'm still going to use 1.5 inches here. Now, from up, I go above 10 inches. This is 10 inches, but I went above it because I want it to slant from my armhole. Then I make just a slant shape. I use my free hand to make this slant shape like this. Then at my waist, I make the slant shape deeper at this side. Then I stop. That is at my down waist. I stop like this because I don't want it bulging or folding at the back. Then it's like I'm going to cut that out to show you guys how it is. Then I'll start at my top length, just 8 inches to slant. You cut out. Then I come to my waist, I make a deeper, that is half 2 inches, that is half to quarter. Then after that I go ahead with half. After that I'm using 1/8. Then after that I just stop. You can see what I have. I make a slant shape at this edge, but if you want to use it, the 1.5 inches that I use, I'm going to measure it back here, so it will have to be tightened, not be folding and bulging at this back. Now if I want to measure it, you can see what I have now. I'm left to 1, but if I want to sew it, I'm going to use the same 1.5 inches that I use, just to make that place straight. Then after that we are through with this, and I'm going to cut it out for you guys to see. After that, I have something that looks like this. You can see this is my princess cuff. You can see what I have. Then remember, I came in by half here just to slant my zipper allowance, not to be bulging and folding at this part. Now you can see my shoulder slant, my neck. Then we are through with this. You can see what we have like this. Wow, so long and sweet to me. Now let's go for the sleeve. That is the hand sleeve. Now this as my sleeve. You can see I fold my fabric into 2 like this. Then after that I close it, just to make, you can see, just to make a flare of angle 180 degree, or you say 360 degree flare. How to cut it out, that's how the sleeve is. Then what I'm going to use, that my sleeve length is 14. Then I added half 1 inches to it, because we are going to use elastic for that sleeve. That's the hand of the sleeve. You can see it at that photo. We use elastic for the hand, that is the sleeve, at the down. Then if you check at the up of that sleeve, there is a pleating, that is a gather, just tiny gathers at that armhole. Now what we're going to do now is that I'm going to mark the 15 inches that I need right here. This is the 15 inches, you can see. Then you come right here also, you mark the 15 inches. Then I'm going to check what we have. Then I'm going to make it round like this. If you see, it's just a curve shape. I'm going to curve it like this. Now if I check what I have now, I'm having 9, and this 9 inches is my actual armhole. But if you see at that armhole, there's a gather, that's tiny gather. Then I'm going to come a little bit like this, making it 11 inches. Then what we're going to do now is that we are going to curve it, like creating an armhole curve. You can see what I have, because this part will be the armhole part, that is the down, while this part will be my up for the sleeve, because we are going to curve it like creating a sleeves. Now if you check what we have now, this is 13 inches, and the 13 inches is enough for me to create that gathers. 9 inches is my actual armhole, while I added just 4 inches because not that much. Then altogether I'm having 13 inches. Then what we're going to do now is that we're going to make it round. Put your tape rule at this edge. This is 19 inches. Then I'm going to bring out like this. You can see what I have. Then you make the 19 inches like so. Then you come right here, we are having 23. Don't mind it. Then I'm going to mark the 23 like this. At this edge, I'm having 23, while at this up, I'm having 19, all the way here 19. Then starting from here, I'm having 20, all the way to 23. Now you can see what I have. Then I'm going to curve it. I came in like this. At this edge, I came in like giving a curve. Then I came out back. Now you check what I have now. I'm having 13 inches, and it's enough for me for the sleeve. Then I'm going to cut it out for you guys to see. That I have something that looks like this. You can see what I have. Then we are going to use elastic band to make this. Then this will be my armhole. Then we are going to pleat it. Remember I said this will be my down and this will be the up. You can see. Now after that, this is what I have for to make the gathers, just a tiny gathers at this up. I'm going to show you guys what we have. All of this while now, this is the front part. Then my side, you can see I'm going to use half inches to join it. Then I'm going to part that we cut, which is the front. Now this is my center. You can see what I have. Wow, it's so sweet and so quick to make. This is the side part. You can see what we have, our basque length. After joining it, we are going to have that perfect shape. Then our sweetheart length, then you slant. You can see what we have. You can see. Now after that, I'm going to show you the back. Now this is the back part. You can see our zipper allowance, how I curve the zipper allowance. You can see. Then after that, we have the side. You can see our side part. Then this is the second side part like this. Then after that, you are going to use half inches just to join it. Then you are going to have the perfect curve at this back. Then after that, we went ahead our sleeve. You can see the sleeve, how I do the sleeve, how I make it, how I'm going to use the elastic to fold it and the gather. Now thanks for watching my video. Thanks for watching Trust Stitches video. That's Princess Bustier top 10. Kindly click on that subscribe button. I click on that notification bell to notify you whenever I post a new video. 10. And if you use any of my video to make a tutorial for yourself or to cut out your fabric, kindly click me up and tag me on that video. Thanks for watching my video. Thanks for watching Trust Stitches. Kindly see you in my next video, and don't forget to press on that like button, and kindly follow me up on Instagram as Trust Stitches if you know you want to learn more and want to follow me up. Thanks for watching my video. See you in my next video. Bye bye.